I think the New York Knicks have something to argue about here. Over the last couple of months, the NBA has been going after the Knicks with practically anything and everything they can get their hands on. And maybe it is James Dolan. I don't know what the NBA has this gripe against James Dolan and what he said. He was absolutely right what he said about the NBA and taking away some of these top Knick games and taking away from Madison Square Garden television and putting it on ESPN and playing it on the channels that the NBA have contracts with. So he's absolutely right about that. He owns the rights of the New York Knicks. They cannot tell MSG or Madison Square Garden they can't play their games on the MSG channel. But the NBA has made a contract with some of these organizations, these television companies, and what they say goes. And obviously James Dolan didn't like that because he's an owner and he's a multi-billionaire and he owns the rights of the New York Knicks. The problem right now with the Brunson situation is, I don't know if the players are upset at Jalen Brunson. I don't think that has anything to do with the players and the way the Knicks are playing right now. They just obviously new players. Mikal Bridges is a new player. Karl Anthony Towns is a new player to this roster, and they're still trying to figure things out. But guess what? The reason why I do believe Jalen Brunson took less contract is because his father is a part of this coaching staff, and that his father is a big part of what Brunson is and what he stands for and why he came to the New York Knicks. The Knicks obviously have some kind of combination of reasons why they made the move to bring Mikal Bridges in. They made the move to bring in all these, Villanova players, because guess what? They came from Villanova just like Jalen Brunson. So I do believe there's some kind of connection with that. And obviously, I do believe there was some kind of argument with Dante DiVincenzo and Rick Brunson when they played in the preseason. Maybe that had something to do with it, too. I don't know. And obviously, Jalen Brunson has his own thoughts to obviously what Dante DiVincenzo said, because he was on his show and when it was brought up and Hart and him were talking about it, they would not obviously talk about what was said on the basketball court between his father and Dante DiVincenzo. But Bondi is obviously a reporter. He's going to find things that he could write about. And the investigation is really, I do believe, is trying to figure out or trying to find out if the Knicks were doing something or cheating behind the scenes. And one of the reasons why Jalen Brunson decided to take that significant less contract and stay with the New York Knicks. The problem is right now is I don't see the NBA finding anything. I don't know how they can dig deep and find out, well, this is the reason why Jalen Brunson took less money. Jalen Brunson signed a 4-year deal worth about $156 million. Could he have made more money on the open market next year? 100%. He probably, he's not having the season he had last year, but if he became an all NBA player again, or a second team all NBA player this coming year, he would have made between $250 to $280 million. He would have made $100 to $120 million more. The problem is, there is nothing I could see the New York Knicks being caught with, even if it to be true. Now, I do believe that the NBA will do anything to try to get James Dolan and take James Dolan off. As we all know, James Dolan he's a light switch, and he will go on ESPN. He will go on one of these news networks and throw himself under the bus. It's been a big problem over the last couple of years. Remember when he went on the Michael Kay show with the whole Charles Oakley thing? It made him look really, really bad. And Charles Oakley looked really, really good on what he did, throwing Charles Oakley out. Again, I don't know if this is a conspiracy, but I can guarantee you the NBA is not going to be able to do anything to the New York Knicks. The Knicks obviously are upset about this situation, because why are the Knicks being brought up to this story? It doesn't matter who Tom Thibodeau picks as his assistant coach on the bench. He is the head coach. And unless Tom Thibodeau gets thrown out, that's the only way Rick Brunson or Tom Thibodeau gets hurt, like Denver's coach gets knocked out and it tears his ACL and he can't coach, he can't stand up. That's the only way Rick Brunson will be taking over for Tom Thibodeau, or he has a heart attack, a massive heart attack on the sidelines. That's not going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, the Knicks actually prove how much Mr. Brunson's getting. Okay, so I don't know what is the big deal here if Rick Brunson's on the bench. And I don't think the players give a crap if Rick Brunson's on the bench. He's been there since Tom Thibodeau got that job. Right. Tom Thibodeau and him are really good friends. The fact that Jalen Brunson is there playing for the New York Knicks, yeah, it might have something to do with it. Who cares? The fact is, the Knicks have Jalen Brunson. What is the complaint here? The Knicks finally have a player, have a star that's helping the Knicks get to the top. And by the way, the NBA is better when the Knicks are on the top. So why is there so many complaints? Who is complaining besides the NBA here? Honestly, what does it matter if Rick Brunson's making $20,000 more than Johnny Bryant is making? Johnny Bryant is right now the assistant coach for the Brooklyn Nets. Nobody's talking about Johnny Bryant taking off and leaving the Knicks to go and work with Kenny Atkinson. Nobody's talking about that. But because it's the New York Knicks and because Rick Brunson is the father of Jalen Brunson, that's the reason why Jalen Brunson took a less contract. How does this affect anything? Jalen Brunson took less money because maybe his father is the coach on the side, on the bench. It's Jalen Brunson's decision if he wanted to take less money. I mean, why would he take $100 million less? The only reason why is his family likes it here in New York and he wants to raise his kids here. Just got married. He just got settled in here in New York, and this is where he wants to raise his children.
I think it's just more of an attack on Dolan and how he's always pushed back. If you have an opportunity to play at the highest level for your dad, and let's not get this out of context, he's still making $150 million.
Yeah.
Like, yes, could he have got more? But to be at the highest level, the pinnacle, he's called his dad his biggest basketball influence in his life, and he gets to coach him and be with him every day. Yeah, sign me up, and twice on Sunday. Like, I don't see what you could even say how it would be. And I understand, and Fish chiming in, and he's right, where now you have these teams that own their own networks. Well, now you have all these things streaming. So I think it's also a revenue deal from all aspects and not just contractually with players and coaches.
He is losing a significant amount of money when the Knicks aren't playing on MSG.
Right.
And he has a big gripe on that. There are stories coming out that James Dolan is planning to sell the organization, sell the Knicks. He's not selling Madison Square Garden or MSG Network. So if he doesn't own the rights to the New York Knicks anymore and he's still making money on MSG, don't you think he wants the Knicks to be played on MSG Network? He's losing out on a significant amount of money. Yes, they're obviously the contract that they have with those TV deals, everybody's making money. But if the Knicks are good, don't you think fans if they can't go to the games, their eyes are going to be locked in on watching the New York Knicks. AKA right now, the Knicks are on TNT. They're not on MSG right now. They're on, ESPN right now. Why? Because ESPN has a contract with the NBA. So if I were James Dolan, I wouldn't be happy about that too.